Oh, one other quick point, Vicki.
Yes.
One other quick point. Sorry, I forgot to say this. The police brutality protests in Israel that are ongoing, by the way. The media don't talk about it. Let's say, it's not really a Jewish state because it's about some Jews. It's about the white Jews.
That's a fact.
It's about white migrants from Europe.
Yes.
But Israel is very aware that the black people in Israel are inspired by the Black Lives Matter protests in America, which, by the way, and the other point to this, they saw that when George Floyd, rest in power to him, and all the victims of white supremacy in America, but particularly George Floyd, Israel saw that when George Floyd was murdered, America was about to erupt. And not just that, the power and inspiration of those protests that began in America, and God bless the Black American family, that energy did what, Vicki? It spread around the world. And that energy has gone on to inspire other movements. So powerful was it? Environmental movements, movements for justice, movements for civil liberties, etc., etc. So they are very, very aware of this power. The irony is they know that ultimately, Vicki, they can't do anything about it. They cannot stop what's happening any more than they can stop fate. They can pour all the money into their Hasbara trolls. They can pour all the money into their NGOs, all their money into the lobbying. Ain't going to work. Ain't going to work. And they know the power. They know the power of Black America.
I need to emphasize, with all that fire you just spit, we have to emphasize a phrase that you use, which is very important. And I don't want us to skirt past it because we've normalized this phrase, but this is very, 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 very important. You called it the information war. Yes? I keep reminding folks that it's always been about the war of words. Whether you're looking from that perspective, metaphysically, scientifically, spiritually, or otherwise, it's always been about the war of words. Why do I bring that up? Because it has everything to do with the media voices. Yes, that has everything to do with them staying in power. Is when they help, when they start to control the narrative, which is what they're trying to do right now with the murder of Charlie Kirk. Now, Charlie Kirk is not someone that I believe should be lionized. I'm not saying that he's someone that should be disrespected. I have my own perspective about that as a feminine woman. This is my planet, and I feel that I run it the way that I want to. I understand that there are certain protocols and niceties that other folks want to observe so that their motives aren't unfairly amalgamated with the issues of the powers that shouldn't be trying to push. They're trying to make sure that they're trying to make it clear that they're not trying to disrespect him. Of course, I'm not trying to disrespect him. I just don't think it's my job to jump through a whole bunch of hoops after my people die for niceties, after we've forgiven you when our dead weren't buried. None of us have gotten the type of attention globally that Charlie Kirk has received in the United States, Foundation of Black Americans. The Palestinian plight, I haven't seen the world come together like in unison like this. I think I saw, and you correct me on this, I think I saw, of course I have to go to alternative media for the real media, but I could have sworn I saw something about the alternative media, the parliament there or something. They wanted them in the UK somewhere to observe a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, and they refused and they got up erupted. Do you know what I'm talking about there?
I think I heard something about that. Yeah, I mean, it's a mixed bag in the UK, but with each young generation that's being born, racism is a problem to stamp out, and it's a challenge. But I really believe that with each generation, these attitudes are falling to the wayside and are being relegated to the dustbin of history. The Charlie Kirk issue is no different. So there was, of course, a lot of crocodile tears and fake sympathy for Charlie Kirk from fellow suspected white supremacists. But at the same time, there's a huge resistance to that BS as well. Now, it doesn't mean for one instance, personally, Vicki, and I suspect your politics is probably similar, I don't wish death on anybody, and I certainly don't celebrate death. However, I put this on Twitter. If I didn't respect you in life, I'm not going to pretend to respect you in death. That would be hypocritical. And someone that made a career and made money and prestige and influence from denigrating black women and black people, talking about if I get in a plane with a black pilot, I'm going to be worried. Like, you don't have to pretend to respect this person. I think and it saddens me to see so many other black people from across the world put on a cape for this man who doesn't even view you as human, much less equal.
Well said, indeed. And I bring that up because I'm proving in no limit of time the interest of white supremacy to elevate his life. And especially when we look at him very closely, and of course, somebody was pulling up receipts about Charlie Kirk, and somebody found something that I commented on from a post that Brother Tariq Nasheed made. I think it was either 2017, specifically about Charlie Kirk. So I said, y'all sure find them on receipts. And I bring that up to say, I don't owe anybody an explanation when I've been on this boy for all these years. And I'm not going to stop it because you're trying to change the narrative so that there's a biblical statement, Brother Richard, that says that there's a man of sin that's going to be revealed. But the reason why he's being revealed is because he is operating undercover. So the main way someone or something is revealed is obviously through speech, right? So that's the first thing that they want to do, is they want to control the speech. Now, even though whether we believe that this Tyler guy is the real killer or not, and of course, I don't believe that he is the only one that's involved in that, and some of us may not even believe that he's really the one that hit that shot him. Whatever the situation is, we know whether it's a white individual or white government or white interest. I tweeted the other day that I said white people are out here fighting each other, but pretend like the enemy is somebody other than them. So it's the same way with Zionists. It's the same way with certain white Israelis. The moment you call out their white supremacy, they bring up their religion as a cover. What it is, when I say what you did was white supremacist, what you did was racist, what you did was wrong, what you did was unjust, what you did was a violation of human rights, what you did was this. They throw on the cape of the label and then try to turn around. So they create what I call an entity. See, that's why I have a problem. We emphasize labels, political parties and all this stuff over being, in essence, black first, because you get to hide behind that label, and other black looking people will join in and say, well, we Republican too. We Democrat too. We Christian too. That's my brother and sister in Christ. This is what gets me, and that's what they do. And that's the reason why I call certain elements of Christianity, after being raised, brought up in it, as a diabolical, a satanic form of spirituality. That's Vicki Dillard talking. There are certain elements of that that cannot be called anything other than that, because that's why we have Calvaries throughout the United States. I said that's why we have Calvaries and crucifixions throughout the United States. In fact, one that just happened here recently in Mississippi, the state that I was born and raised in, just found out that a black family there got a call from police that their son was found dead, or unresponsive, I should say, that was the term, in his dorm at the college, only for the news to come out and say that he was found hanging from a tree. Now, this is very important to understand this. Now, I'm bringing this up. I'm going to say this, and I want you to jump in here. Everybody, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. I want to welcome those of you that are coming in right now. Shout out to our moderators. Shout out to those of you all that are here. Be sure to like and share. I want to get into here in just a minute. And all of you all that are giving, your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. Man, Scott, your $20 gift is blessed 1,000-fold. I just showed another super chat from someone else. Your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Family, be sure to pay close attention to the links that my moderators, they're highlighted in blue. They're putting important information in the chat. Yes. So family, be sure to check that out when you get a chance. But I want to keep this moving. Brother Richard, I want you to jump in here because you made some very profound points. And that's very important, that whenever we're talking about Israel, specifically white Israelis, I love the point that you bring out about some of the racist discrepancies that are happening within their own, I'm calling them discrepancies, just sound like I'm diplomatic with in terms of language, related to black Jews in Israel, like the ones that they sterilize. I've done broadcasts on them as well. And mainstream media, Brother Richard, they don't talk about that, our buddies that we're sending all these billions and billions of dollars to. For whatever reason, they don't really push the plight and expose to us that within elements of the Jewish community, they're actually persecuting, they're actually sterilizing, unbeknownst to those women, y'all. That's the story. They did not know. They were lied to about what the medical industry was doing to them, only to find out later that they were actually sterilizing them. So the white Israelis over there, they don't care too much about no black ones. They're concerned equally about the darkening of not even their country. They invaded that country. These folks are not from there. Brother Rich, before I go further, talk to us. Talk to us about why do they have high cancer rates? You think skin cancer rates? Talk to us about that. And not just that, please, even if you want to pull this up, you did an article, no, a tweet. No, it maybe was an article. Talk to us about what you did, not the one on the UK Parliament. I want to save that one for later. Where you specifically, I want to pull it up. This one. See, I like to pull up the receipts, y'all. I don't want to just be talking. I want you to talk to us, connect the dots between what I just said and this, where you said, can y'all see this? Mm-hmm. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things to unpack there. First of all, Netanyahu comes from a family, I think his original name from Poland is Milkowski.
Yes, Milkowski.
So he's a European white dude from Europe. This is what his family is. They've gone to somewhere in the Middle East and they've changed their name to try and be more indigenous. But I really think people just need to think about this really just in terms of plain old European colonialism, from Australia to America to elsewhere. Everywhere Europeans with a lighter hue have gone, they face challenges because here what? They are not the indigenous people. Now, yeah, I did a video a year or two back and I talked about how, and it's interesting, this doesn't really get the light of day, just like Australia, white Israelis suffer from very, very high skin cancer rates in Israel. Now, that's not something to joke about. I'd never joke about cancer, but I was making the point. A lot of people were laughing. They thought I was making a joke. But anyway, the point is, if you're supposedly indigenous from a land, you should be able to deal with the climate. It's like me saying I'm from Botswana, Vicki, or somewhere very, very hot, but I can't handle the climate. How can I be from there? And the other thing to really think about is this. If Israel is a Jewish state, if Israel is a religious state, a Jewish state, then why the hell are they so hell-bent on keeping it white? Because it's nothing to do with religion. They got no problem persecuting black Jews. It's not a religious thing. They've got no problem massacring Palestinian Christians. They do not give a shit. This is about skin tone. This is about racism. I mean, the architects, Theodore Herzl and everyone else, the original architects of Israel were, you know, Christian or atheist European people. That's just a historical fact. So these people have no real legitimacy in Israel. They are terrified. And it's interesting, much like we have this great replacement nonsense in America, in the UK, they are clearly terrified of Israel being anything other than a white nationalist country. They view the Palestinians as a demographic threat. The Palestinians are, of course, the indigenous people to that land. Again, that's just historical fact. But you know, this thing we're talking about, Vicki, is the same reason why, I don't know if your viewers know this, DNA tests. DNA tests were banned in Israel until very recently. Because if God's chosen people go and do their DNA tests, they're going to find out they're from New York, they're from London, they're from Poland, they're from, you know, wherever it might be, Lithuania, they're from Malta, they're from Spain. They are not from there. And you know, you just reminded me of something, Vicki. Our dear brother Kyrie Irving, shout out to him. He's got the best handles the game has ever seen. But that's another. That's something to talk about. But do you all remember a couple years back? The brother didn't even tweet an opinion. He retweeted a link which I believe included information about the fact that the original everything is black. The original everything is black. So the original Hebrews, the original Jews are black. And again, this is a historical fact that they want to scrub out because it doesn't fit with their intentions, with the way they want to present themselves. And really, the whole reason why Israel is a friend of the UK and a friend of the US, the intersection is what? We can talk about class. We can talk about other things. Black is the intersection. Black has always been the intersection. So these people, their unifying, codified, unifying factor is their whiteness. The white skin is their political currency, and they do not care about anything else. Because you would imagine if they were a Jewish state, truly, they would be welcoming Jews from all parts of the world, from Europe, from Africa, from everywhere. But they are not. They seem to be only interested in welcoming European-looking Jewish people. This is just a fact. People can call you anti-Semitic, but the other fact is, And God bless these people. There are millions and millions of Jewish people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Some Jewish people who might not even believe in God. They are Jewish culturally.
Yeah.
Then you have your Orthodox Jews, but you have millions of Jews that have stood on the right side of history,
Yeah.
and that are standing on the right side of history in this particular issue. And back to your central question, Vicki, all of this information that people are beginning to talk about more and more, they know that Black Americans, in particular, young Black Americans, but not just young Black Americans, have been, will remain instrumental in sharing this information. So we talked about an information war.
Yes.
There is nothing the mainstream media and their lackeys can do to counter the sharing of factual information about Black history, the history of Palestine and Israel. And they fear this, you know, they fear it, but there's not really much they can do about it. But they're terrified of the power of Black protest, Black truth, Black spirit. They're afraid of it in Israel. They're afraid of it from the United States.
Yes,
and again,
sir.
they understand the power of the Black Lives Matter movement in America. They saw what happened after George Floyd.
Come on.
They are terrified of their day of reckoning coming, but their day of reckoning is coming.